it over to the mayor for our council meeting.
Thank you. Is the recording on?
Yes, it is, Mayor.
Thank you. This is Mayor Shave, and it's Wednesday, January 13th, 2021 at 7:27 p.m. And I call this the city council meeting to order. The first item is public comment period is included during the Zoom video meetings. The public was notified that if they wish to speak during the meeting, an email be sent to Patricia Soul, city clerk, and indicate if they would like to speak or to have the clerk read the comment. If they desire to comment live, they will be called on during the meeting and allowed to speak for 3 minutes. So item number 1 is roll call. City Clerk Soul, will you please take roll call?
Yes, Mayor. Councilmember Andrews,
Here.
Councilmember Ellis,
Here.
Councilmember Francie,
Here.
Councilmember Gordon,
Here.
Councilmember Haviland,
Here.
Councilmember Cashman, Councilmember Kennedy,
Present.
Councilmember Mackey,
Don't know where to go. Unmute.
I'll come
Okay.
back.
Mackey's here.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Rod,
Here.
Councilmember Ross,
Here.
Councilmember Shaw,
Here.
Councilmember Short,
Here.
Mayor Shave.
Here,
1 absent, everyone else is present.
thank you.
Mayor Shave,
Yes, Council President Shaw.
I would like to excuse Councilmember Cashman.
I'll make that
Second.
motion.
Motion was made and seconded to excuse Councilmember Catchman. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Councilmember Catchman is excused.
Mayor Shave,
Yes, Council President Shaw.
I would like to move for approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion carries.
Mayor Shave,
Yes, Council.
item number 3 on the agenda is executive session, and I would move to recess into executive session for 15 minutes. Action is anticipated after the executive session. I move we recess into executive session.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded to recess to executive session. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. It's
I'm
now.
sorry, Mayor Shave, I thought there would be under discussion. I'm sorry to interrupt, but under discussion, I was going to offer that the purpose of this meeting would be the selection of a site or the acquisition of real estate by lease or purchase when public knowledge regarding such consideration would cause a likelihood of increased price.
I will allow that added in under discussion.
Thank you.
Normally there is no discussion on.
I apologize.
Thank you. So the motion passes and it is now 7:31 and we will reconvene in 15 minutes.
I do.
Margot, you exit this meeting and you go into the one that was on your calendar.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Worried I was in the wrong meeting for a minute.
I'm the only one that didn't know, huh?
Real estate one.
Same thing with John, Frank, and Margot. All of those were via email. This one was sent yesterday or day before, and the one for later was sent today. Do you need me to resend those emails to you guys? John, Margot, Frank, do you guys need me to resend you the email so you can link it in?
So I thought this is still the general meeting because I've signed into this twice clicking on the other, so I'll find the other email. Thank you.
Yeah, it was, it should say executive session / real estate.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Patricia, I don't have that either. I don't have the link.
Okay,
Sorry.
all right. So. Okay, so. To Lisa. Frank. Margo.
I think in the future, we need to build in a transition time.
This should be easier.
When we have to go from meeting to meeting, it takes a few minutes.
I'm sending all of you guys, I've sent all of you a link, so you should be able to get in.
Traffic was really bad getting here.
I have a feeling a few people realized at the last second they had to do the register thing, but if you do it while it's in progress, you don't have to wait for that second. There's a join meeting in progress link.
Oh, okay.
So there is,
thanks, Commissioner, getting in.
John and Frank are both trying to get in. Frank's struggling. I need to talk to him real quick.
Okay, Stacy is also having some issues getting in, so I will remind her to go back to her emails. And Margot's not here either.
Margot just left the webinar. Hopefully I sent her a meeting invite, so I resent a meeting invite to everyone except for, you're doing Stacy's?
I was just saying if she could, to tell her which email, but I'll go ahead and forward that one.
Looks like everybody's left the old meeting, so everybody, well, nope. Okay, hold on. John, are you still struggling with this?
Yes, I'm not sure where I went here.
Okay, so go to your email. Do you have access to your email?
Yes, I will here in a second.
Okay, good. I just sent an email to you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good grief, sorry about that. So is everyone here?
Last email I have came at 6:02 for tonight's meeting.
I think we're waiting on we're waiting on a couple of more members, I believe. John Mackey and Margo.
Sending it again right now, John. You should have it in a second.
And that would take it up to 10.
Okay. Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you.
Okay. Aha, I see it.
Okay, good. So Josh, Joshua is not there?
That's correct.
Okay, so I'll send him an email too. Maybe he's struggling.
So I don't see Margot. If you guys are okay, I think I might call her and just put her on so she can on speaker so she can listen.
I've got the email here, but where's the link?
Keep- go
and
down a ways.
also verifying that somebody is inadvertently still connected to the other meeting and.
It's clear down right at the very bottom. Red.
Join the meeting.
So click on, do you see the blue link? John?
Yeah, I see several of them right
Okay,
now.
go all the way to almost the bottom.
Okay.
Council meeting, they can hear you if you
have your speakers on.
It just says start your reply with one tap.
Nope.
Is that what
keep-
I'm looking for? I don't think so.
Nope, all the way at the bottom. And
Meet?
right before the bottom, there's register in advance for this meeting. Click on
Wow.
that link.
But I know what you're saying, Stacy.
Do you see that?
No, I'm all messed up here now.
Okay, so are you still in your email?
Not now. I got out of it. Somehow I disappeared.
Okay, so
Let
go
me get
back
back
to
to
the
it.
last.
I heard Margot, but I don't see her on our list of people who are here.
Okay, now I'm back.
Okay,
Executive session. There it is right there.
okay, so you found it? So you
I
need
got
to
the
leave this,
executive session up.
yep, you need to leave this meeting and go into the executive session.
I don't even see that. She might have gotten disconnected.
Okay, I will try. Shoot.
Okay,
I'm trying to figure out how to get out of this one. Done. Now I'm done, right? Okay. This is so terrible.
This is not working too well, I see.
Not for me, it's not.
Well, Stacy didn't even make it, and this is her meeting.
So, Mr. Mayor, you can hear me, John Mackey?
Yes, I can.
Okay, all right, good. I'm thinking, glad I'm not talking to nobody here. Meet, I'm just getting all kinds of weird different screens.
so what you need to do first, John, is you need to get out of this one. So you need to end this meeting. It's down at the bottom right. And Mayor, you're in the wrong meeting.
Okay,
Oh, brother. I went back and forth and, okay.
Okay, so
there's the
John,
meeting. There's
on the
that meeting.
right-hand side, the Zoom meeting, the one that looks like a camera. You see it?
You're muted.
Yes,
Okay, so click the end button there, and then in the invite, the email, click on that link to get you there.
You did great, Margot.
So click end on this one.
No,
Ugh,
darn iPads.
All right. Joshua, are you struggling getting in?
Yeah. It's still.
Okay, so
Yes,
did you
I
see,
am.
did you see the email I just sent you with the link? It's at the very bottom where it says you need to register. John, you're back in this meeting instead of the other one.
Okay, I'll give it a try.
Mayor, you're still in the council meeting.
I can't get on the other meeting.
I just sent you another invite. The executive session is going to take another 15 minutes due to technical difficulties. So the rejoin will be at 8 p.m. Council is coming back to reconvene this meeting. They should be back in, arrive.
Holy cow, that worked.
It's 8 p.m. and I reconvene. The recess is over and I reconvene back to the regular meeting to order. So we have another executive session, a second one at 8 p.m. So we need to recess to the second executive session. Deanne, did you have a prep for doing that to recess?
Yes, Mayor Shave. Hang on, I think I'm muted.
I can hear you.
We hear you.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at my script and I'm not seeing the exact wordage that Patrice would want. So I would move that we recess to executive session for the purposes of consulting with legal counsel. And Patrice, if you would please fill in anything I left out.
Shoot, I sent that script.
I have this.
I have it.
It's at the bottom of the agenda.
It is on the bottom of the agenda.
Oh, I
because it wasn't-
apologize. Thanks, you guys.
There you go.
To discuss with legal counsel representing the agency matters relating to agency enforcement actions, or to discuss with legal counsel representing the agency litigation or potential litigation to which the agency, the governing body, or a member acting in an official capacity is or is likely to become a party when public knowledge regarding the discussion is likely to result in an adverse legal or financial consequence to the agency. I move to recess into executive session for at 20 minutes. Action is not anticipated after this session, but we will.
Respectfully, there will be action after this because we haven't done any of the action items of the agenda.
I'm sorry, maybe I didn't state it right. I thought I said, but we will resume the regular meeting, but no action as a result of the executive session.
Second.
Okay.
Motion was made and seconded to recess into executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
It's 8:03 and we will recess for 20 minutes.
Councilmember Mackey, you need to go into the other meeting.
Man, painful.
This meeting is being recorded still.
It's still painful. How long did it take us to get into that other executive meeting? 20 minutes?
Yeah. Let's have this administrative follow-up later. Please.
Patrice,
Yes.
the annexation, the individual that wants to share is on here. Before you start, if you want to let me know when I can allow her to talk, I will make sure she's allowed to talk.
Absolutely. And Ms. Kazi, I apologize if I've mispronounced your name. The order will be, and Patricia, I believe that the order is the hearing and then to allow members of the public to comment, and then it will be as soon as it comes up as the meeting. I think it's the first item under Public Works. So Ms. Kazi, thank you very much for your patience on this tonight. And Patricia, I will repeat that as we're closer.
That would be great. Thank you.
Yep.
The executive session is going to continue for another 10 minutes, ending at 8:33. You're muted if you're trying to talk, Councilman Bashart.
Hey, I think I found you. Are you there, Patricia?
I am.
Okay, where are we?
They said 10 more minutes, so it's supposed to end at 8:33 at this point.
Well, that's the second executive session.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm gonna sit here and wait for the meeting.
Okay,
This is not working well for me.
I'm sorry. We can do
That's, it's not your fault.
some training if you'd like to.
Back to Wayne.
That's a great idea. He's a good trainer.
Yeah. A few.
Council has extended the executive session additional 10 minutes, so they will be returning at 8:43.
Mayor Shade, you're muted.
Famous words for 2020. Now we're getting right into that in 2021.
It's almost like a seance.
Yeah. Okay, let me see if I can find my place now after all that. We are finished with the second executive session.
Mayor Shave, can I just ask Councilmember Andrews to quickly, I'm not sure where I left off with Councilmember Short, who was having some difficulties. Will you call her? She doesn't text, and let her know that we have restarted the meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Because I think I have, I'm supposed to help over here on the.
Okay, we ready? It's 8:40 and it is, the recess is over, and I call this meeting back to order. Who will move to reconvene?
I so move.
Second,
Motion is made and seconded to reconvene the regular council meeting. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? The meeting is reconvened. So where did we leave off?
Finance Committee.
Was there any additions or deletions to the agenda? We didn't talk about that, or public comments.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Are there any additions or deletions to the meeting? Hearing none. Clerk Sol, was there any public comment submitted?
No, there was not.
Thank you. So now we'll move to the Finance Committee.
Okay, thank you. So Finance Committee met this evening at 6 o'clock via Zoom and spent a bit of time discussing our agenda items this evening. So we'll be moving on to that in just a little bit. So the first item of business is the approval of expenditures. I move we approve the expenses.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded to approve the expenditures. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Oh, this is the
It's a roll call.
expenditures. There's a roll call vote. We have a roll call vote, please.
Yes.
Thank
Councilmember
you.
Andrews?
Point of order, the expenditures need to be read into the record.
Okay. To approve accounts payable in the total amount of $2,028,158.91 and payroll in the total amount of $763,638.86. Check numbers 25010 through 25036 and 71536 through 71578 and 71718 through 71856 and wires 1231 and 1233. So roll call vote. Councilmember Andrews,
Yes.
Councilmember Ellis,
Yes.
Councilmember Francie,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordon,
Yes.
Councilmember Hovland,
Yes.
Councilmember Cashman is absent. Councilmember Kennedy,
Yes.
Councilmember Mackey, Councilmember Richrod,
Yes.
Councilmember Ross,
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw, Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
Councilmember Short,
If you'll bear with us for just a second, Councilmember Short's having some difficulty, so I'm putting her on speaker on my phone so she can hear. Can you hear us, Margot?
I can, thank you.
So do you approve the vouchers?
Yes.
Thank you.
so everyone approved. Absent was Cashman and Mackey is not on. I think he's having technical difficulties.
We lost some people in the internet.
We did.
Sure did.
It's the Millennial Falcon. I
Yeah.
just know it.
Well, shall we go ahead and move forward?
Yes, please.
Hopefully John will find his way back. So we have 3 reports this evening. The first report is a report from Finance and the Community Development Director recommending that the City Council authorize the mayor to sign an amendment with Makers to extend the completion date of the update to the 2001 Comprehensive Land Use Plan to December 31st, 2021. I move we adopt this report.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded to adopt this report to Makers. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? The motion carries.
The second report is from Finance and the Community Development Director recommending that the City Council authorize the mayor to sign the municipal services agreement with Greater Grace Harbor, Inc. I move we adopt this report.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded to adopt this report. Is there any discussion? Liz Ellis.
I haven't seen what the context is for the agreement with Greater Grace Harbor. But I've commented in the past of how we have funded them to do outreach to the business community, and that if there was a way to communicate our intent, that they maybe go the extra mile to connect with some of the minority-owned businesses in our community, maybe even non-English speaking business people, but that we, going forward into a new year, we see a different level of service with our partnership with them, so that truly all of our business folks in Aberdeen are getting information and having an opportunity to fully participate in programs.
Thank you. Councilman Kennedy.
Yes, just to kind of comment on what Ms. Ellis just brought up, I actually do know that Greater Grace Harbor does actually reach out to pretty much every member of the business community, and they host a lot of free events for the business community that they advertise a lot. They spend a lot on social media advertising, print advertising, and I happen to, one of my good friends is actually one of the outreach people to specifically the Hispanic population and Hispanic businesses. So that is something that they do a lot. It's just we might not actually see a lot of it. But if you do know of a minority-owned business or a business that might not feel they're being represented, they should definitely reach out to GGHI and even come to some of the business after hours that they put on. Those are free events, and it's a great way to interact with the business community and also interact with GGHI and really see what they do.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the report, say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion carries.
And finally, this evening, we have a report from Finance and the Parks Director recommending that the City Council authorize the mayor and staff to begin negotiations with the property owner of parcel 010-105-001-100, also known as the Boeing Building, to purchase the property. I move we adopt this report.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded to adopt this report. Is there any further discussion?
Mayor, under discussion, I would just like to point out again that at this point, all they are asking is that we reach out to the owner and discuss the possible I guess, price that they're interested in selling the building at, and
Okay.
nothing more at this time.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's it for finance this evening.
Thank you, Committee Chair Ross. Committee Chair Kennedy, do you have a report?
Good evening. Yes, I do. Public Works Committee met yesterday via Zoom at a little after 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We discussed all of our agenda items and brought up some other very interesting new business that hopefully we can see some action on in the future. I would also just like to say that, you know, we're going to be choosing new committees soon, and I don't know if I'm going to be working with the same people on this committee or even be on Public Works, but it has been a really fantastic year working with everybody on this committee. It's been a lot of fun, so I'm kind of hoping they keep us all together. So moving forward into our agenda items, first under public hearings, this is the date set for public hearing on the consideration of a proposed direct petition for annexation of 267 State Route 105. I move that we open the public hearing.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded to open the public hearing. Is there any discussion? Patrice Kent?
Thank you, Corporation Counsel Patrice Kent. I'm just verifying that this is the time for members of the public who are interested in weighing in on this to provide their comment. There is a meeting that I believe is the next agenda item, and the petitioner is, the clerk has pointed out that the petitioner is actually on this call as well.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of opening the public hearing, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Seeing none, the public hearing is now open. City Clerk Sol, is there anyone reaching out for comments on the public hearing?
There was no emails, and I'm looking at the attendees and there's no hands up, so no.
Okay, thank you.
Hearing that, I move that we close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded to close the public hearing. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. The public hearing is closed.
Okay, moving on to reports and communication. Our first item is a meeting with the petitioner of annexation of 267 State Route 105. Patrice, go ahead, because I am in, like, I've never done this before, so I'm not sure how to proceed.
All right, so this is a little different than what we've done before, and we're all in new territory. Ms. Kazi, if
can you guys hear me?
Clerk Sol, if you can, yeah. So
Okay.
this is the opportunity. This is a back and forth. If you have additional information that you would like to share, and it will be a fairly informal conversation between yourself and members of City Council for you to present this information at this time.
Okay. I don't know, I don't know if everybody got a copy of my proposal.
Let me go ahead and share that again. This is Patrice Kent, and again, Ms. Kazi, I apologize. Every member of the City Council, and it was also attached to the public copy of the agenda, has a copy of your initial proposal, the proposed petition, the letter that was sent to you telling you about this meeting, the December 28th, I believe, memo, which is also available online. I don't know if I don't believe that I copied that to you, but it has been publicly available, as well as a couple of staff comments on it. What was included was the map of the area that of the property that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
While we're getting there, I will pull up a copy and share that screen if you'd like me to, Ms. Kazi.
Okay. I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do.
So why don't you go ahead and summarize what your request is and why it is, and then I will defer to Mayor Shave to manage city council comments or questions. And
Okay.
If they have questions that you can't answer, perhaps some of the staff that are on the meeting may be able to weigh in as well.
Okay. So I live at 267 State Route 105 in Aberdeen, and I'm a licensed family home child care provider, and I got licensed in 2018. And we are in what's considered a gray area, meaning we don't have fire coverage. So unless I call 911 and tell them that there's somebody in my house, I don't have a fire department that will come out and respond and put the fire out. So when I financed my house, I had to call around for a bunch of different quotes, and I couldn't find an insurance company. Literally out of like 30 different companies, I found one that would cover me, and it was obviously a very expensive company. So for that reason, I had to go with a very expensive one, and I'm wanting to get annexed in because I'm less than 5 miles away from the Southside Fire Department. And I had talked to the fire chief there back in, I think it was like 2016. And he told me that they respond to the prison anyway, so they wouldn't have a problem if I was under contract with the city of Aberdeen with responding to my house. And so with my daycare, you know, it's peace of mind for myself and for my child care clients, you know, to know that there would be a response in the event of a fire emergency. So not only would it help us out financially, but it is also great for the event of emergency as well. So yeah, that's pretty much the biggest reason of wanting to get annexed in.
Thank you. Is there any questions from the council? Anyone on the council have any comments or questions?
Yeah. I do.
Councilman Richrock.
I read, Ms. Causey, I read your letter and why you wanted to do this. And it actually makes sense to me, putting myself in those shoes. I can see. And it's a surprise to me that you could have a house somewhere where you don't get emergency services because you live too far away and all that. But is annexation into the city, which I can see is cumbersome, is that the only solution that could be had with this? If the fire department would be able to respond to the call there anyway?
So I contacted the county commissioner, I believe it was, and he said, so I don't know if you guys know this, but basically all of Nishkaw Road is like that. There is no fire coverage for all of Nishkaw Road. Any of those homes out there do not have coverage. So the only other option, from what I understood when I was trying to figure it out, was either annexation, or I would have to go around and try and get our area to create our own fire department of volunteers. And that just wasn't something that was even feasible. So annexation was the most logical step in my mind, because we're so close to the city limits anyway. So
Any other questions? Anything else, Alan?
No, I'm gonna have to really do some thinking about this.
Anyone else on the council? I know annexation is something that's not experienced very often. So ask away if you have anything. One of the things I'm curious about, if I may ask a question, is what responsibility to the homeowner in a case like this? I know if you build a house in some new offshoot area in the city limits, the fees are generally different as far as getting everything hooked up for the first time.
Mhm.
So I'm curious what is involved there, or if there's anything that the homeowner in this case would be responsible for paying for.
Well, I imagine, I used to work at LeMays, and I know that being outside the city limits, the garbage rates are different than inside the city limits. So I know that that would probably change. I imagine, as far as my daycare goes, I would need to get a business license for the city of Aberdeen, because right now I don't have one because I'm not within the city limits. Little things like that. I know I'm gonna have to do, because I got city water from you guys. I paid to have the lines ran to my house when I got licensed, and I know that I'll have to pay the EMS fees and stuff, which is totally fine. I know that as far as like permits and things, stuff like that will change because I'll be inside the city limits. I don't think that PUD or anything like that changes.
I wonder if Lisa or Rick have anything to add to that. Lisa Scott or Rick Sanger, do you have anything to add maybe to
Well,
what it,
with
okay.
annexation, typically for property and it comes in and the underlying zoning. So for us, it would be residential. We would want to make sure that the daycare that's there fits with our definition of residential. That could pose a problem. But we'd want to double check that with Mrs. Causey and make sure that it fits on those parameters. If it does, then it can be annexed in as residential. Rick be better to answer the tapping into the other utilities that are there, because there's a high pressure main that could be expensive to tap into, and as well
We already did tap in.
to the sewer line.
No, we're not on sewer. We have the septic, but we're already on your water lines.
Yeah, I think there's a high pressure sewer line that runs through. Rick needs to talk to that. I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Oh, that would be nice.
So, and then there's also talk of adding fire hydrant as well. So I think there's further information, I believe, that was discussed at the public safety meeting. So I would defer that piece to them.
Okay.
Thank you, Lisa. Rick.
I can talk about a few of the utilities. I think I just saw Tom come on. Tom would probably need to speak to the fire. I know he's got concerns. The sewer line is a high pressure sewer line from the prison. And I think she says she has sewer already, or septic system. She probably wouldn't be looking to tap into that. It would be expensive because it'd be a pump system. Not sure how. It's really difficult in a situation like this because I don't know what the questions are. So I don't know where that hydrant would have to go. I know there's available water on the other side of the road. Another hydrant probably tap into the existing high pressure water, but there's a lot of costs associated with hooking up to utilities, and I'm not sure how those, if it's a new house, we would pass those on to the person that's buying or building the house. I'm not sure how that works with a existing house. So like I said, there's a lot of unknown for us, but I know there's a lot of expense.
Okay, well, that's kind of the direction I was going with the questions you answered, because I have no idea what the homeowner might be responsible for in something like this. Dave Haviland?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Rick on essentially, because I know some of it has to do with the congruency of the property and it needs to be, next to city property. In looking at what you might need to do with some of the utilities, have you been able to answer that question as far as if it fits into an eligible property because it's directly next to and all that?
That was that was a legal question. I think that legal, I won't speak for legal, but I believe the answer was that it could be, but we have to also annex in part of the state highway, which is an issue for us. Now we become responsible for maintenance on the state highway. And from Public Works direction, we don't want any part of that. We don't want to have to send our equipment out of town 3 miles to clean the ditches. You know, that's just not we're kind of geared to be around town. We have wheeled excavators, those types of things that would.
And
really-
to clarify that, where does the city's ownership of that area stop right now? Is it like before Emery's,
So-
right around? Sorry, go
So
ahead.
can I go ahead and share my screen because I've pulled up the county website that includes where the current city boundaries are? And hopefully this will help with
Okay.
everyone as well.
Thank you.
Let's see. All right. So this is does everybody see where I'm?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And now, of course, I can't unzoom it because where's the fun in that? Sorry, where is the fun in that? There we go. So if we go out a little bit more, the purple is the Bishop Athletic Complex, which was annexed in, which was city-owned property at the time of annexation. And so that is the current city boundaries. I recognize that it's just across the highway and maybe in common parlance that would be considered contiguous. However, there is no definition of contiguous, and all the legal references that I was able to find, including past practices for other cities, is that in order to not raise questions as to whether this is or is not contiguous, we should annex in the state highway. And part of that is because this will have to go before the Boundary Review Board for review. They may, because of the size and the assessed value, they may choose to not weigh in on the annexation. Is that big enough? Can everybody see it? Do you want?
Okay.
That's
Patrice, I
better.
wanted to ask too, though, while you have
Yeah.
this up. Okay, because I know that the Bishop was kind of annexed in specifically for that area and really that southwestern area. So where does actually the city property, if you're not factoring that in, begin or end in that South Aberdeen area?
You mean what is the city boundary?
Essentially,
It's like a couple
where does
miles
road-
from my house.
Right. I'm just curious, like, where does road maintenance end on that road? Is, you know, boy, Rick was explaining, we would have to essentially adopt a highway. And where's our road crew leaving from the last Aberdeen highway or portion of highway? Is it right by the college there?
I'll
Yeah, just
defer to
past
Rick.
the college.
We maintain out to Emery's.
Out to Emery's. Okay. That was my question, essentially, how much further we would be looking at needing to go. And that is some high maintenance highway. That whole field below, just south of the road there, floods. And I know that there's quite a bit of portions there that have to be worked on.
I believe the only section that we would have to maintain is the section that adjoins her property. So right straight across.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Going back to my comment about the Boundary Review Board, while they do have the discretion to not review, to take the advice of the recommending entity, the city of Aberdeen, it appears that since the Boundary Review Board was formed in 2007, the Boundary Review Board has not taken the opportunity to defer to the local jurisdiction in any cases, and certainly not with the city, including the most recent annexation of city-owned property that was immediately adjacent. So that's just a procedural issue for consideration. The other point of consideration is Finance Director Soul. I mentioned this. I don't know if you've had an opportunity in the short term to review this, but during the course of your vote on whether to accept or deny the annexation, the other portion of consideration is whether City Council chooses to allocate a portion of the city's indebtedness to their tax bill for the city.
You're not asking me a question, are you? Because I wouldn't have an answer right now.
Well, it was what is the city's indebtedness and the allocation? We had kind of very briefly discussed that, not very in depth, but that was the question that had come up previously.
I can get back to you with that, but I don't have that answer right now.
Thank you.
Okay, there any other questions? I want to get to, I know Tom's biting at the bit to answer what I was asking earlier about fire hydrants and such.
Mayor Shave, I had a question. This is Deanne.
Okay,
Just for clarification, maybe I'm not understanding correctly why we would be responsible for that snippet of State Route 105 when we're not responsible for the state routes that run through our city. Like we're not responsible for paving Boone Street or Simpson and Sumner. Those are, the state does those. So I'm kind of confused why we would have to pick up State Route 105 when the state does our streets in town.
go ahead, Rick.
We have an agreement with the state for any state route that runs through a city. It's called basically state routes as city streets. And those streets, we do have a responsibility. We have a responsibility for everything behind the curb. There is no curb. So now we become responsible for all the drainage that's there. What we're not responsible for is we're not responsible for the roadway surface. So they would still be responsible for paving, but we would be responsible for everything outside the fog line. So that is, basically the ditching and the stormwater conveyance.
Thank you.
Is this map helpful, or would you prefer that I stop sharing this at this point?
No, it's a good map.
Okay. Thank you.
Fire Chief Hubbard, did you have a comment?
Or 3.
Thank you, Fire Chief Tom Hubbard, Aberdeen Fire Department. So in response to the request, I prepared a one-page document. Was that supplied to the council members, Patrice?
It was, and it should be in the agenda packet online.
Okay. And in that, I also provided a map. In my letter, I outlined some of the logistical challenges that property presents to us. And let me address some of the statements made by Ms. Causey. She's correct that she is in a gray no man's land area as defined by Washington State. There are areas, lots of areas throughout the state, throughout Grays Harbor County, that are in a non-protected area. The Nishka Road definitely being one. Over the past couple of decades, various homeowners have approached us with this same concept. At one point, there was a group that was going to form their own fire district and then try and contract with the city of Aberdeen. That did not occur. We do have a policy, she is correct, that if we get a report of a structure fire in that area and there's a report of a life safety issue, as in somebody's trapped, then we will respond. But other than that, because it's outside the city and we're a municipal fire department, that is not in our response area. We do go to Stafford Creek. We have an annual fire protection contract with Stafford Creek that we receive funds for. It is a facility that is on a fully high pressure hydrant line. The buildings have sprinklers, the buildings have fire hose connections. And so it's hard to draw a similarity between structures because it is designed for us to perform the type of firefighting we do. As outlined in my letter, the challenges for us, and you can see looking at the map that's on the screen, the closest hydrant is about opposite where the Nishka Road and 105 meet, opposite the side of the highway. In measuring, that is a 1,500 foot supply line lay for us to get to the structure. Our engines carry 1,000 feet, so we're going to take 2 engines to lay supply line, and that is not a feasible lay. That would require 3 engines to do a relay pump, getting way down in the weeds on that. If there's not a hydrant within 500 feet per the fire code, then that requires us to use water tenders, using typical 3,000 gallon water tenders, which the fire department does not own. That is what we would need to supply 250 gallons per minute for 2 hours to meet the class 5 fire code rating. So if we had a hydrant, next to the property on that side, that would make a difference. But as it currently sits, we could not provide reliable and effective fire suppression as it currently sits with the way our department is configured and staffed.
Okay. Is there any other discussion from the council? Hearing no other questions or discussion from the council, Ms. Causey, do you have any other final comments?
So my question is, that was really good information, so thank you all. So even if we did get annexed in, the fire department still couldn't offer coverage because of the hydrant issue.
I believe, Chief Hubbard, go ahead.
So ideally, a hydrant would be placed within 300 to 500 feet of your house on your same side of Highway 105.
Okay.
Then we could provide an effective response. It's still going to be delayed because we are the closest fire, the station is I've lost it, but
I believe it's
3.6 miles away. So
yeah,
there is-
3.6.
Yeah, and per our class 5 rating, it is recommended strongly that fire stations are within 1.5 miles of built upon structures. And that was covered in our feasibility study for our RFA, that the 4 current stations between Aberdeen and Hoquiam are well situated to meet that 1.5 miles for fire engines and 2.5 miles for ladder trucks.
Okay.
So it'd be a considerable cost to make this happen.
Right.
Okay, is there any other discussion or questions from anyone? Ms. Causey, any more comments?
No, I mean, it's definitely something, that I want to look further into. I don't know what you mean by considerable, like 20 grand, 100 grand. I don't know.
Well, just to put a fire hydrant in out there, I believe was pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Fire chief could probably give me a closer number, or Rick could.
A fire hydrant placed on a line, they run about $3,500 for the hydrant. Excavation, depending on what the distance is from the line. I believe the high pressure line is on the north side of State Route.
Yeah, it's under the
105.
highway.
So there
Yeah.
would have to be either a directional bore, which is expensive, or an
Yeah,
open.
we paid like 11,000 to get the water line.
Yeah, so it probably, I would guess $20,000 at least.
Okay. Well, at least I have a number in mind, because it's definitely something that we need to do eventually. But yeah, it's good information.
Okay.
I mean, I guess really my question is, is there any other options? Like, I mean, probably not. So
Yeah, I can think of one. A big, huge
Move.
housing developer from California move in and build hundreds and hundreds of houses in that area, clean in towards Aberdeen.
yeah.
That would
Yeah,
certainly.
we'll get right on that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Environmentally
it's a
sensitive
beautiful area,
too.
but
Yeah.
it's definitely if I would have known then what I know now, I probably wouldn't have bought it. So
Councilmember Ellis, do you have another question?
Sorry to weigh in late. Could I just get a clarification for, is there a requirement if this property were to be annexed that that property be tied into city sewer as well? And that would also potentially be another expense?
In other words, can she have a septic tank?
Rick?
I believe that would be a legal question. I know we have septic systems within the city of Aberdeen, but that's when we don't have our sanitary sewers service available. So when there is sanitary available, I don't know what the requirement is. I don't know if they have to hook in or if they can continue being on a septic.
Do you know what that costs to tie into the sewer line possibly?
Oh, this one you said is high.
It's going to be, this is just a guess. I mean, you can't hold me to this because I
That's
haven't
okay.
had a chance, but
Just an idea.
it's a step one pump system. And we have a
Okay.
number of those in town and they're about $5,000. And what they are
Okay.
is they're an emancipator pump and chopper pump. So, and then it has a small 1.5-inch line that would plug in with some
Okay.
check valves. So it wouldn't be anything like the hydrant for sure.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else? Okay. Seeing none.
I will stop the screen share at this point.
Thank you. So do we need a motion to move from this meeting? No.
I think that you can do that by acclamation, and thank you, Ms. Causey.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Ms. Causey.
And then
Okay,
Patricia, I think she can,
the meeting
You can
is
do-
over. We'll
right.
move on to the next item on the agenda.
Okay, so next we have a report from Public Works and Corporation Council recommending that City Council reject the proposed annexation of 267 State Route 105 into the City of Aberdeen. I move that we adopt this report.
Second?
Motion was made and seconded to adopt this report. Do we have any discussion? Councilman Kennedy.
Thank you. I would just like to say that I really feel for Ms. Causey and her situation. One of the things that was brought up in committee and is in the reports is that part of the annexation process is that we need to make sure that this is a benefit to the city as a whole and a benefit to the public. And I really didn't see that that was shown anywhere. This is annexing the property would be a great boon for Ms. Causey and allow her insurance rates to come down, but that doesn't necessarily address a public benefit per se. And I would probably recommend talking to your neighbors and seeing, if you guys can, if anybody's interested in fire service, or go up and down the line and see if you guys can't do some kind of volunteer fire department up there. But once again, I really feel for you, and I'm sorry, but I'm gonna vote for this for rejection.
Anyone else?
Mayor Shave?
Councilwoman Deanne Shaw.
So just as you know, I'm usually an opponent of having a public hearing and a vote on the same night, but I want to thank the staff for the quality and the content of the information that was brought to us so that we could evaluate Ms. Causey's input with a total picture in mind. And unfortunately, I also agree with Councilman Kennedy, to bring in property that would possibly negatively affect fire rating for the entire city and our taxpayers is not something that I hope someday the situation is changed, but right now it looks like it would negatively impact our fire rating, which then impacts fire insurance rates for all of our citizens. So.
Thank you, Council President Shaw, for bringing that up about staff, because I agree. They put a lot of effort into looking at how this could be done and make it work. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the report, say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion carries.
Okay. Moving on, we have a report from Public Works and the Public Works Director recommending that the city,
I'm sorry, point of order. Ms. Sol, Council Clerk Sol, would you please take Ms. Causey off the panel at this point? Thank you.
did her. Yes, I will take the next step.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
I saw her disappear, so I thought that had been done. Okay, are we all good to carry on?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so item number 3, we have a report from Public Works and the Public Works Director recommending that the City Council shall pass a resolution authorizing the City of Aberdeen to accept a loan through the Clean Water State Revolving Fund for a loan amount of $795,000 and an interest rate of 1.2% for the WWTP Influence Screening and Conveyance Improvement Project. I move that we adopt this report.
Second.
second.
Motion was made and seconded to adopt this report. Is there any discussion? Councilwoman Ellis.
Yeah, this is a super low interest loan that half of the principal gets forgiven. So that's a pretty good deal for us.
Thank you. Everyone is familiar with what we're talking about here. Good job. Okay. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of this report, say aye.
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 Hey,
Any opposed? The report is adopted. Thank you.
All right, next item, we have a report from Public Works and the Public Works Director recommending that the City Council shall authorize the city engineer to execute an agreement with Gordon Thomas Honeywell for up to $15,000 for governmental affairs services and to partner with the City of Hoquiam to develop a joint legislative plan. I move we adopt this report.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded to adopt this report. Is there any discussion? Councilman Kennedy.
We found out the other night at committee that the City of Hoquiam had already approved their portion of this. So the City of Aberdeen's expense would be half of that $15,000. Also, this is kind of a trial run with this particular organization to see how things work out with them. And if things do, then we'll probably be using them in the future as well.
Any other discussion? I would just like to say that this is a longtime reputable company that's been doing this type of work for a long time and been pretty successful at it. Both Hoquiam and Aberdeen have looked into them, checked them out, and I think it's a great opportunity that our two cities are working together to accomplish good things. So I'm happy to see this. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, next item, we have a report from Public Works and the Public Works Director recommending that the City Council shall authorize the mayor to execute the agreement with the WashDOT Rail Freight and Ports Division for $693,000 in funding for the Aberdeen US 12 Highway Rail Separation Project. I move that we adopt this report.
Second by Francie.
Motion was made and seconded to adopt this report. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion carries.
Okay, next we have a report from Public Works and the Public Works Director recommending that the City Council shall authorize the city engineer to execute an agreement with HDR for $745,629.75 for consultant services for a new Fry Creek pump station. I move we adopt this report.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded to adopt this report. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The report is adopted.
And next we have a report from Public Works and the Public Works Director recommending that the City Council shall pass a resolution superseding Resolution 2020-25 designating the city engineer and the Public Works Director as applicant agents for the City of Aberdeen's 2021 application for FEMA BRIC grant funding. I move we adopt this report.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded to adopt this report. Could I ask who seconded?
It was me and Dave.
Yeah, give it to Francie's fine.
Councilman Francie. Thank you. Is there any discussion? Councilman Kennedy.
Just under discussion, essentially, the last application, they included the wrong form for the resolution. And so this is just adopting the correct resolution form so that this can move forward.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The report is adopted.
Okay, and with that, we have a resolution authorizing city agents to execute for and on behalf of the city of Aberdeen for the state of Washington Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities BRIC program, sub-application and grant. I move that we accept this resolution.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded to accept this resolution. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This resolution has been approved.
Resolution is number 2021-01.
Well, we got the first resolution of the year. And that is all from Public Works.
Thank you, Councilman Kennedy. Councilwoman Andrews, do you have a report for public safety?
I do. Public safety met this evening. All of our members were there. It was a great time. All right, we'll get right into it. So I'm going to share my report from the fire department because he's got this fancy little graph that he likes to put on his stuff. So let me share that. All right, so he figured out the 2020 call volume, and there was an 8.5% increase. So let me just scroll down here so you can see this lovely graph. Here we go. So if you can see how many calls that our fire department goes on, it is quite a bit. This averages about 350 to 400 calls per month. There was an increase of 426 calls compared to last year. So essentially 2020 ended up being a 13-month year for the fire department, if you look at it that way, with that call volume. Yeah. So they had a little, just like the police and fire department both went through a small lull with COVID when it first hit. Everybody was kind of gun shy with going to hospitals and such like that. So they had a slight lull and then it picked right back up. So, and both departments exceeded their numbers from the previous year. So tonight on the agenda, there's 3 EMS agreements, all for ambulance transportation. So I'm going to group all 3 of those together. And there's an interlocal agreement between the city of Aberdeen and the city of Hope Rim for automated response. So then we also talked to the police department, and over on their side, they had about 33,941 service requests, which was up. It was up about 200 or so from the previous year. But their average is about 93 service requests per day for them. A service request for them includes any engagement between the police department and the dispatch center, from traffic stops to citizens reporting criminal activity. They have a couple of items on the agenda. We'll just talk about them when they get there. One item we did want to mention was that the VIPs had 55 hours volunteer in December, so that's always good to hear. So we will, all right, everything else I can cover when we go through the agenda items. Let's pop over to the agenda. All right, so on our reports and communications, I would like to group together report number 1, 2, and 3. So we have a report from Public Safety and the Fire Chief recommending the Mayor and Finance Director authorized to assign the approved contract for EMS services with Fire District 10, Fire District 15, and the City of Cosmopolis. I move we accept these reports.
Second.
Motion was made to accept these three reports. Is there any discussion? Council Kent.
Thank you, Mayor Shave. I would like to let folks know that there were some drafting errors, some clerical errors, one of which was within the police, that was in for Fire District 10 and Fire District 15 related to the comments. So if council would like to make a motion to correct those clerical errors, they were provided to the fire chief and the police chief earlier this afternoon.
So moved.
Second.
Were the corrected reports put out to the public?
They were not. They are, if you give me a moment, I will provide that information about which the typos in.
Want me to weigh in, Patrice?
Yes, thank you. I found the sections.
So I'll just add that the originals for signature have the correction and with my initials on them. They're in the finance department for your signature, and it had to do with the frequency of payments. The amounts and dates were right. We struck the word quarterly from both Fire District 10 and 15 contracts for the fire side.
It's for 2 payments, and then it said quarterly. And as Councilwoman Short pointed out, 2 and quarters are not the same. So that was the intent. Thank you.
Okay, well, because they weren't reported to the media as corrected, we need to vote to, now that we've mentioned it, to approve the corrections.
And
I would like.
Correct. That was my motion.
May I read that into the record, please?
Please.
For the agreements with Fire District 10 and Fire District 15 interlocal agreements, on page 2, section 2.3, the section is amended so that it reads, Aberdeen will invoice District 10 or 15 for 2 equal payments of the base compensation to be due on June 30th, 2021 and December 31, 2021, striking the word quarterly.
Okay, was there a second on Dave's motion?
There was.
Okay, motion was made and seconded to approve of the amendment. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion carries. Now we need to vote to approve all 3 items as amended. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the 1, 2, and 3 report. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Those 3 reports are adopted.
Alrighty, so number 4 is the report from Public Safety and the Fire Chief recommending that in consideration of increased risk to life safety and property damage presented by structure fires and the public good affected by a prompt automatic response by the Aberdeen and Hoquiam Fire Departments, it is recommended that the mayor be authorized to execute an interlocal agreement between Aberdeen and Hoquiam. I move we accept this report.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded to accept this report. Is there any discussion?
So in discussion, if you don't mind, this is they've always had an interlocal agreement for fires. This agreement is a little broader and it covers a little more ground. It's all a part of them working together for the Regional Fire Authority. You know, they've discovered that they could expand this. So this is the first step in expanding that sharing of services. So I mean, the one thing I didn't mention was in the numbers, Hoquiam had 3,000 calls last year, and we had 5,000. So the RFA would be about almost 9,000 if you added them together. So it's quite large between the two cities. So this is just so they can both work together.
Okay. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of this report, say aye.
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 Any opposed? The report is approved.
The next report from Public Safety and the Chief of Police. The City Council has authorized the purchase of a standard patrol vehicle for the 2021 Police Department budget. It is recommended that the City Council approve the request for an additional $4,000 to purchase a hybrid patrol vehicle model instead of a standard patrol vehicle model. It's a Ford SUV police interceptor like the others. The cities will recoup the funds after approximately 1.5 years. I move we accept this report.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded to accept this report. Is there any discussion? Councilman Kennedy.
Yeah, I'd just like to say I think this is a really interesting move forward, and it'll be really nice to see some reporting back from our PD as to the efficiency of the vehicle. And if it works out, hopefully this is the way we'll move forward with purchasing emergency vehicles.
So technically this will be the second hybrid that they have. So there was one that was damaged in an accident, and an insurance company paid for the replacement. So they got a hybrid for that. And the department members that have driven it and been with that hybrid have made good reports. So this was a vehicle they had already budgeted for, but we're just adding a little extra so they can get the hybrid, but we'll be making that up in gas savings over the next 1.5 years.
Any other discussion? Councilwoman Shaw.
So I apologize, my memory's not serving me very well from reading the report. So are we authorizing an additional $4,000 from cash reserves, or is the police department going to find the $4,000 within their budget?
I believe that it's within their equipment reserve budget, but Chief, am I right?
That is that is monies we could pull from our ER&R funds. So it's either we pay now or pay later. As I've shared before, we burn through basically a vehicle and a half per year. So we do try to get some funds into ER&R, but then of course we still have to budget for that through our regular budget.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The report is approved. Thank you.
All right, so I got one more report. We got a report from Public Safety and the Chief of Police recommending that the mayor be authorized to sign the interlocal agreement with Connections. I move we accept this report.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded to approve this report. Is there any discussion?
And I'll just add on to that this Connections is what used to be known as the Child Advocacy Center. So in case that's what just for clarification, in case people didn't know what Connection was, but that's the new name of what used to be the Child Advocacy Center. So they utilize those services if we have juvenile victims.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This report is approved.
And that's it from Public Safety.
Thank you. Under special agenda items, Council President Shaw.
Mayor Shave, there are no public hearings, reports, resolutions, ordinances. The only special agenda item we have is our annual organization and an appointment. So I would turn the presiding of appointments over to you.
Thank you. I'm going to move right forward to item number 3, the appointment, and get that out of the way so we can get all our internal great stuff done. So I would like to appoint Jeannie Weichelman to the Aberdeen Library Board. Is there a motion? Can I have a motion? Or-
Also move.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded to make this appointment. Is there any discussion? Under discussion, for anybody who's not familiar, Jeannie is about a 30-year Aberdeen resident, and she's been a school teacher. I think she's taught school in Cosmopolis now for about 26 years. So she sounds like she'd be a good appointment. Any other discussion from anyone? Here, seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Jeannie Weichelman will be appointed to the library board. Okay, let's go to the election of council president and open nominations. Is there a motion?
I move we
I
open
sec-
nominations for council president.
Second.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded to open nominate. I can't even talk anymore. The nominations for council president. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion carries. Nominations are now open for council president. Debbie Ross.
I'd like to nominate Deanne Shaw for council president.
Okay. Any other nominations? Councilman Kennedy.
I'd like to nominate Katie Catchman.
Okay. Anyone else? Any other nominations for council president? Okay, seeing none. Then I will call the nominations closed. Do we need a motion? Don't we need a motion? We don't? Okay, we
Not
don't.
for
The
that, I don't think.
nominations are now closed. So we will vote on the nomination. All in favor of Deanne Shaw continuing to be council president, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Seeing none, Deanne Shaw, you are council
Usually do
president.
that.
What, Tawny?
That's not how we're usually done.
I was gonna say, isn't this usually a roll call vote?
It's usually a roll call vote, and you usually say the name of the person you want to be present. Just saying.
We have two
Well, I
nominations.
told you guys before this started, I didn't get my nap today and I'm tired. So, okay.
You've only been on council for what, 20 years?
I know. Okay, roll call vote. Deanne Shaw has been nominated for council. It's a roll call vote.
And Katie
And
Cotty.
Katie.
And Katie Catchman.
Gosh,
Okay, so
this is getting bad.
Councilmember Andrews,
Hutchman.
Councilmember Ellis,
Shaw.
Councilmember Francie,
Shaw.
Councilmember Gordon,
Shaw.
Councilmember Haviland,
Shaw.
Councilmember well, she's not here. Councilmember Kennedy,
Catchman.
Councilmember Mackey. He didn't rejoin, okay. Councilmember Richrod,
Shaw.
Councilmember Ross,
Shaw.
Councilmember Shaw,
Shaw.
Councilmember Short,
You're muted, Margot.
Shaw.
Sorry.
Thank you.
The vote is 8 Shaw, 2 Koshman.
Thank you. Phew, glad we got through that. Councilwoman Shaw, you are council president Shaw for 2021.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you, everyone. I appreciate the vote, and I'll continue to try and keep everybody in the loop best I can.
Okay. Now election of committee members. So we have to elect one person from the council to work with the committee on committees. Nominations, I will open nominations for that. Nominations are now open. Council President Shaw.
Mayor Shave, I nominate Debbie Ross.
Okay. Any other nominations? Councilwoman Andrews.
I nominate Margot Short.
Okay. Any other nominations? Councilman Kennedy.
I nominate Katie Kochman.
Okay. The problem with nominating somebody that's absent tonight makes it a little bit difficult.
I was wondering if anybody would catch that.
We don't have to do it tonight. It's just when the three of us can get together.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, I will close the nominations. There's no objection. Seeing none, nominations are closed. The roll call vote.
And Councilmember Andrews,
Short.
Councilmember Ellis,
Ross,
Councilmember Francie,
Ross.
Councilmember Gordon,
Short.
Councilmember Haviland,
Ross.
Councilmember Koshman's not here. Councilmember Kennedy,
Ross.
Councilmember Mackey, not here. Councilmember Rich Rod,
Ross,
Councilmember Ross,
Katie,
Councilmember Shaw,
Ross.
Councilmember Short.
Ross.
Okay. 7 Ross, 2 Short, 1 Koshman.
Okay, thank you. The Committee on Committees will be Council President Shaw, former Council President Andrews, and Councilwoman Ross.
Mayor Shave, can I just add something?
Yes.
I know I popped on 1 minute before. It might be that everybody knows this, but under our ordinance, I believe the Committee on Committees is expected to meet before the next meeting and bring a report to the next meeting on our alignment for the coming year. But as is our practice, we will meet as soon as possible and share, probably through, since it's remotely, I think it would be best, we'll provide it to the clerk to share out or as soon as possible, what we're looking at, if that's okay.
The three of you need to
We'll
decide and
meet
fix
find
that.
a time to meet, and after we get it settled, we will share what we come up with so people don't have to wait till the next meeting.
Thank you. Okay. With that, we'll move on to City Council comment period. Is there anyone on the council that has any comments? Councilman Kennedy.
Thank you. I'd just like to congratulate Ms. Shaw on another year of being our president. And mostly my nomination for Katie was because, well, she wasn't here. And I really felt that you needed a little competition there. So I hope you don't mind that. We're coming into a new year, and I really hope that we can see a lot of things move forward and some things open back up when they should, and that people, keep being diligent on this stuff, because this summer I'd really like to see a lot of our activities come back, and they're not going to come back if we if we don't do what we're supposed to. So wash your hands, wear your mask, stay inside.
Thank you. Any other council comments? Councilwoman Ross.
Thank you, Mayor Shave. I'd just like to speak a little bit regarding the RFA and the committees. We've been meeting now since June, and it's amazing to me how far we've come. We basically are working on 10 different sections to put this together. And the diligence of these committee members within the fire departments has been just fabulous. They're working hard to come together. But we're getting down to the nitty gritty now, and I'm just wanting the council to be aware that coming up at our next meeting, we're going to be talking about putting a team together for labor negotiations. We get to come up with our official name, and we're also beginning to get into the discussion about asset transfers. So there's a lot going on, and the opportunity will be for you, I think, to have a chance to weigh in. And I just kind of wanted to give everybody an update.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, well, I have to be back here at 7 o'clock in the morning. So unless Councilman Haviland would like to take that duty.
I will wake you up at 3:30 when I wake up.
No, thanks.
I move we adjourn.
Motion's been made to, and seconded to adjourn. Unless nobody objects, I will call this meeting adjourned. Thank
No
you,
objection.
everyone.
Good night,
Good
everyone.
night.
Good night, everybody.
Stay healthy.